Cybernation Uncensored.
We're good. Hi, everyone. Jesse is the sweetest person alive for putting up with this noob when it comes to running the tech side of things in addition to running this new talk show, guys. Thank you guys for joining and for sticking it out. I really appreciate it. Hopefully if anybody did leave because they were like, I don't know what the heck she's doing right now, I hope they come back because I want you guys to be able to hear my amazing friend Jesse Inocalla talk about his journey and all the awesome things he's been doing. But before I get to that, let's do a proper intro, shall we? Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first ever Power Word Talk, where we have introspective discussions with phenomenal writers, artists, and creators to discuss their personal journeys and the amazing work that they do that leaves a positive impact on the community. I am your host, who is learning tech, as you could see. And before we get to everything with Jesse, I'm your host, Utahime. I'm going to be taking you through this journey. We're going to do some shout outs. So first, I want to shout out Rob, who actually did help me. Thank you so much for calling me so we could figure out that technical situation, and the entire Cybernation Uncensored team for making this show possible. I really appreciate you guys. Maz, who I just saw in the chat, thank you so much for the amazing graphics and overlays. They are absolutely gorgeous, beautiful. Mwah, chef's kiss. I want to give a shout out to the person who actually came up with this brilliant name of Power Word Talk. That was my friend Jay Casual. You guys all voted, the masses spoke and said, "'Tis is it. This is the name." And so I appreciate you for that name suggestion because I love it. It absolutely works for what we're bringing to you guys. And the music, if you can hear the music, yes, no, maybe so. This is actually another friend of mine, Dungeon Glitch, on Spotify. So thank you for providing the amazing tunes today. I am the community manager here at Cybernation Uncensored. I would like to take a second to just mention that our community has a very active Discord, and I love for you all to join us there. We have such wonderful community members. So if you get a chance, I'm going to go ahead and put that in the thing. Discord. Thank you, Cybernation, for putting that in. Please, we would love to have you join us. But also, too, we're on different social media platforms. We have our Twitch, our YouTube, our podcast. We really would love for you guys to follow, like, subscribe, comment, rate those podcasts. Just be active. We try to do what we can. Our team is working very hard to bring you all of the different content and the shows that you see, and constantly updating them weekly. So they're working hard to try to bring you guys that content. So just show us that love and support if you can. We really appreciate it. Also, to finish it up, we're going to shout out our official sponsors, like Fantasy Grounds, who provide our virtual tabletop for our different games. Also Sirenscape, that provides awesome sound effects and music. We have other amazing sponsors as well, and I believe that link will be put up there soon, so you can go and check them out. And lastly, just want to thank all of our amazing Patreon subscribers. We couldn't do this without you guys, with all the love and support that you guys have shown. So thank you so much. I will be trying to keep an eye on the chat to try to see if you guys have any questions of your own that you want to ask Jesse, and I'll be going back and forth and trying to grab some of those. So bear with me as I also too kind of poke my head over to the side every now and again to take a look at what you guys are saying in chat. But let's get to it. We've taken long enough, and he's been so patient, guys. We have the fabulous Jesse Inocalla with us today. It is an absolute honor to have you as my first guest, putting up with everything that I'm doing right now.
You did better with the tech than I would have, so you're doing great.
I appreciate you. Are so kind. I appreciate it.
I would have given up 5 minutes into that. So
no, I was like, no way. The people have come to hear you speak and to chat about all the awesome stuff. We were gonna make this happen. come hell or high water.
It was going to happen.
It was going to happen. I have had the honor and the pleasure of working with Jesse for certain one-shots like our Tales of Xadia charity stream and Octon Cthulhu over on Modifius. But for those who may not already be aware, even though you guys should, can you please tell the viewers your pronouns, who you are, and a little bit about yourself to get this show popping?
Sure. Hey, everybody. My name is Jesse Inocalla, he, him. I'm primarily an actor and voice artist. Choice credits include The Dragon Prince on Netflix, My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, Marvel Battle World. I've got some other cool stuff coming out. We just had World Trigger season 2 or 3 drop, which is dope. Kingdom on Crunchyroll. I do a bunch of stuff, guys, and every so often people invite me to roll dice with them, and I come up with obnoxious characters.
No, you mean the most lovable of characters.
Yeah. Once in a while.
Justice for Scoops. I will never forget that. Yes. I want to try to start off just, finding out how this journey began for you as far as kind of getting into acting and being a voiceover actor, and even which is something that I totally forgot. You also too are a martial artist, so just kind of getting into that a little bit. If you could tell us a little bit about your journey.
Sure. So my dad's a grandmaster martial artist, which helped with the martial arts part at least. So I've been training in Filipino martial arts, Arnis specifically, for most of my life. I still teach it every so often. I do a free community class in my neighborhood.
Oh, that's awesome.
Give back. I did capoeira for 10 plus years.
I love it. It's
taught
beautiful.
that as well. It's so wonderful. It's a really beautiful art, and the history of it is what really drew me to it. But I mean, it all kind of ties back because my dad I always wanted to be an actor of some measure. I was never particularly interested in working for other people. I still am not. But my dad started doing stunts, and I would go to set with him, and when I was a little kid, right? Mm-hmm. And the one that really kind of drove it home was my dad was in Ninja Turtles 3 as the stuntman for Michelangelo.
No way, I had no
idea. So my entire family drives down to Seaside, Oregon, where they're shooting it, and they've built a whole rural Japanese village on the Oregon coastline. And they put us up. Yeah, they put us up in a motel for 2 months, and my dad's on set every day. I'm on set with him. I'm a kid at the time. I'm 10, so they put my hair in a top knot and throw me in a kimono and just throw me in the background of scenes. And I was just like, oh, you can make money doing this. This is a living you can do. And as I grew, I went to acting school, got 2 diplomas in acting, and one of my acting coaches phrases it really well, that I got out into the industry here in Vancouver, and casting was like, cool, what do we do with you? Because I was, and still am, a 5'3" stocky Filipino kid, but at the time I had really long hair and a little bit of a goatee, and they didn't have any idea what to do with me. So I'm floundering. I'm auditioning for whatever commercials I can get under whatever I can. Not to speak ill of commercials, I love doing them, but I don't really have a commercial look, so I don't book a whole lot of them. And my agent at the time says, hey, my friend Michael has a workshop this weekend for voiceover. Do you want to check it out? And I was like, sure, why not? I've always loved cartoons. I always loved video games. I got the weekend off, might as well. So I end up going to Michael Dobson's voiceover workshop. Michael Dobson, for animation nerds in the room, or for non-animation nerds in the room. He was Leonardo from one of the Ninja Turtle series. He was Starscream on one of them. He was Cobra Commander for a while. He's absolutely brilliant. So I'm in his basement in South Surrey with a bunch of other people because he has a whole setup down there. And we're just going through scripts, and I'm like, oh shit, this is great. Because it doesn't matter how tall you are, or how much hair you have or don't have anymore, or how nice your abs are, or whatever.
It's that doesn't matter.
It truly doesn't. It just matters if you can do the job. And I really fell in love with it. And since then, and for the most part, my career has just been focused on playing more in that realm where, I can do stuff just based on the quality of my work.
That's amazing. Yeah. And so, I mean, you would say that your dad was a big like influence as far as like
Yeah.
people who inspired you the most? It was like your grandfather, your father.
I mean, going on set with my dad was a huge catalyst in me realizing that this is a thing I could actually do.
Yeah.
But, you know, with regards to inspiration, you know, I've had the pleasure and the fortune to work with people that have been inspirations to me and train with them. People like Charlie Adler has been a big inspiration to my work. Eric Bauza, I mean, he's newer than Charlie, but he's been a big inspiration to my work. I still have yet to work with some of my bigger inspirations, guys like a Kevin Kline or a Nicolas Cage.
Oh wow.
I hope one day to
Hopefully
get to that
soon.
point.
If you're watching, which that would be kind
Nick,
of crazy.
If you're out
If you're listening, we have it here.
I'm here.
Right
Call
here.
me.
Yes. So because of the fact that obviously we mentioned Ninja Turtles,
Yeah.
and you know, I'm sure that there were other fandoms or like that kind of, you know, influence too in your life growing up.
Sure.
I'm sure. Like, what were your favorites? Because I mean, I know the different characters, and you mentioned some of them that you voice.
Yeah.
But you know, I'm curious as far as whether or not like some of the fandoms also too influenced you along that journey.
Very much so. I like to kind of set like, not bucket list goals. I feel like that's kind of an overstatement because I'm not dying before I do these things, but I like to set little milestone goals for myself. And one of my first milestone goals was getting to be a voiced character in the Marvel universe, because I was a big Marvel Comics nerd.
Oh yeah.
Not necessarily coming up, but through my teens.
We got to know which ones.
We
can't leave it there.
Iron Man nerd for a long time. Doctor Strange.
Amazing.
What else did I have? I'm a big Runaways nerd. I fucking love the Runaways. That's my favorite series, and I'm so sad that it ended. And man, I went back and I rewatched Runaways on Disney Plus because it was a Hulu show for a little while.
Yes.
And it's exactly what I wanted out of a Marvel show. It's just all like angsty teen drama.
We love the angst, don't we? We do.
It's so good. Transformers was big for me. Really, like my big ones coming up were like Ninja Turtles, Transformers, the pretty standard like you know, early 90s kid stuff.
And then now, like the fact that now you're voicing some of these characters that are so influential for the fans and for like younger kids growing up and watching these different shows, especially something like the Dragon Prince. I mean, the fandom is like growing exponentially.
Oh yeah.
So
well, and it's so beautiful too. Like one story that kind of sticks with me about, I'm sure I've told you this before, but for the audience that hasn't,
please.
We were at a convention once. It was me and Aaron and Justin, who are the series creators, and a bunch of the other actors. And Aaron was telling this story about how they got a letter from these parents of a girl who is deaf, and the letter read basically that, you know, their daughter was off watching the show in the other room, and then comes like barreling into the kitchen where they are and like drags them into the living room and points at Amaya on the screen, General Amaya, and is like, "Mommy, Daddy, look, there's someone like me on TV." And I know, I was just like, I wish you had warned me, because I was like,
it's like, I was not prepared for this.
What?
Emotional damage.
Yeah.
Roll for emotional damage.
Aaron. But yeah.
But it's like, it's the damage that hurts real good. It's not the bad damage.
It was so lovely. It was so wonderful to hear. And, you know, having gone to a number of conventions now, you know, and hoping to go to more, and especially with, you know, season 4 dropping and all, I've heard so many stories of ways that the show has affected people, and sometimes in ways that I completely didn't know. You know, I had somebody at a convention. I don't remember the convention or the name, and I apologize. I'm bad with everything.
No, there's so many. It's hard to keep track.
It is.
Even as a person who's a cosplayer and who goes to a lot of different conventions constantly. I'm like, where were we last week? What? Was that?
Yeah, exactly.
Which Comic-Con was it? You know.
So someone came up to me at my table for an autograph and was like, "Hey, seeing Soren's journey in dealing with Viren helped me deal with my problems with my dad." And I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
Like, I mean, not to invalidate that person's experience at all.
Right.
I was just like, wow, I didn't know that was a thing that Soren's journey would do, of all people. And it was just, it's really lovely. And the outpouring from the fans and the response from the fans has been really, really beautiful. And even, you know, in the lead up now, because we haven't been on hiatus, we've been working this entire time, but you know, now that the show is coming back and seeing the fandom rejuvenated has been really, really beautiful as well.
Oh yeah, I mean, and that's just very powerful to basically be a part of something that has that kind of influence and impact on so many people, like around the world. Now, for those people in the chat, because I do know, like, I've talked to some people and they're like, well, you know, I'm like, oh man, you know, I can't wait. The Dragon Prince is dropping in November 3rd. Let's go. And then they're like, you know, I've heard of it. I don't know anything about it. So if you don't mind, just kind of briefly telling.
Elevator pitch?
Yeah, just give your pitch, and also to a little information about your character.
Okay.
And we're gonna add a little spice on the end of it.
Please.
Whatever you're allowed to share, as far as like a little bit of information regarding kind of the transformation, or like that, as we talked about, that character development that Soren is experiencing, because I noticed from the trailers there's going to be a lot of that, and I know you can't reveal everything because I wouldn't want you to, but if there's any bit that wouldn't be a spoiler, that would be amazing.
Okay. So those of you who are unaware, The Dragon Prince is the new show. Well, it's like fucking 5 years old now. It's not that new, but it's the show from Aaron A. Haas and Justin Richmond. Aaron was the lead writer on Avatar: The Last Airbender. Justin was the director of like Uncharted, The Last of Us. Like they're both just genius creatives. And the show basically follows the adventures of, it's hard to say the adventures of a small group because it's getting bigger, but the first few seasons follow the adventures of a group of humans and a couple elves who are trying to avert disaster. That might be a good way to phrase it. Mostly, you know, you follow Callum and Ezrin, who are, you know, the two princes of Katalis, their friend, and I guess Callum's girlfriend by the end of it, Rayla, who is an elf, of course, trying to return the egg of the Dragon Prince, which was long thought to be destroyed, to his mother. That's a good season one summary.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, we don't need to, you know, that's great. Yeah. And I highly recommend it, of course. People who have not seen it, you can binge watch it. The seasons are up there, and you have time before November 3rd, guys.
You do. A couple times, too. Yeah, it's just the writing is outstanding. The animation's very cool. We do kind of a cool 2.5D sort of thing. And it's a lot. It's not a lot like anything you're seeing on TV or on streaming right now. My character, I play Soren. He is the youngest Crown Guard in history. He is he's an 18-year-old blonde himbo who does his best and means very well. In the first few seasons, he is struggling with his loyalties to his family versus his loyalties to his path. And man, I don't want to spoil the show for the people who haven't seen it yet.
No, then don't do it. If you feel like if you say expand too much, we're gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna say the Dragon Prince Twitter has been really, really good about posting in canon short stories that are happening between seasons 3 and season 4. And today's was about Soren, and it's very good, and I like it. And there are actual like almost like the actual books, like I wouldn't say graphic. Is it graphic novel?
There are graphic novels.
Graphic novels, yes.
There will be 3 of them next year. In total, I should say.
That's fantastic.
There is Through the Moon, which takes place between seasons 3 and 4. There is Blood Moon Huntress, which is a Baby Rayla story.
Oh, yes. That's the one that I'm like hoping to try to get my hands on. I love it.
I
love
haven't
Rayla.
read it yet, but I hear it's very good. It also introduces what's her name? I don't remember her name off the top of my head, but the titular Blood Moon Huntress is in it. And
Oh
I'm
yes,
surprised I
I'm
haven't seen.
blanking. I'm blanking now. I'm like, oh, I need to start watching
Yeah.
again, so then it's like fresh in my brain.
Yeah, I don't remember her name off the top of my head, but I am surprised that the fandom hasn't gone a little crazier for an elf who is all like blood powered. That seems like a thing they'd be.
Yeah. Yeah, it reminds me of thinking of Avatar with the blood
with
blood bending. And I'm like, yeah, it's that same kind of like, ooh, a little bit of darkness to
Just
that.
a little bit.
Just
And then next year, I think the next one is called Puzzle House, and that is a Baby Soren and Claudia story. At least they're on the cover, so I have to assume.
I can't wait for that art. I need to see the art of Baby Soren.
I'm gonna tell you, it's already out there. The cover's already been posted.
Okay, so I'm behind. I need to get with the program and look it up.
It's very cute.
Okay.
He's carrying a little sword. It's adorable.
Oh my gosh, little baby, like I'm imagining like a little wooden sword.
Oh yeah, 100. It's like a little like Link's Awakening wooden sword.
Now I'm curious because you know, I am fortunate enough to know some really great voice actors like yourself, especially interacting with a lot of them at conventions.
Oh yeah.
And I know that the industry has changed a lot due to the situation with the pandemic.
Yes.
And I'm just like really curious because of course like big productions like what you guys have been doing with Dragon Prince, World Trigger, the other shows, and also 2 games and things that you've been doing. Like how has that change kind of gone, and like how have you learned to adapt? Because I know there's a lot of people probably even in chat who are interested in hopefully breaking into the voiceover industry. So kind of having a understanding or a grasp on kind of what it looks like now, the structure.
Yeah, things are different. I mean, voiceover is an industry that is rapidly shifting and changing, like one way or the other. You know, it used to be that, you know, before everyone had computers and everyone had access to like reasonable quality microphones, you would go in to audition, you know, you'd go in studio to audition. And now 99% of the time, I mean, pre-pandemic, even 99% of the time, you're just submitting MP3s. You know, you're recording at home and you're submitting your MP3 to your agent or to whatever casting you're going for. This is now commonplace, especially through the pandemic. Everything's MP3s just about.
Okay.
That said, one thing that I think is really cool that has opened up because of it is the industry is rapidly globalizing. So, you know, you'll see groups like the PGM VO list, or you know, even companies like, in some cases, Crunchyroll, Funimation, reach out and cast authentically for things. So, you know, if they need authentic Australian accents, they can hire an actor in Australia that has a studio quality booth. And the truth of the matter is, you know, studio quality is not hard to get. You know, my booth is, outside of all of the tech that's in it, I probably put it together for $500-$600.
And that's not really that bad. I would think that it'd be like over the 1,000.
No, and like you certainly can go out and buy a studio bricks for like $10K or whatever. Yeah. Or, you know, if you're in Canada, I like Bear Cave Silent booths, and they're, you know, $5,000 to $7,000 Canadian. So that's like $50 for you guys.
It's like, do the conversion.
I know, do the conversion. I'm not a math guy. I'm an actor.
I'm not either, so don't worry. You're not alone.
But yeah, like like me personally, I was recording for a company in Los Angeles yesterday out of my home booth.
Wow.
You know,
okay.
I recorded. I'm in Lost Judgment's DLC, the Kaito files. I recorded that from my friend Michael's garage in Maple Ridge, which is a suburb of Vancouver.
That is so wild.
Yeah.
So you just brought your things and then found.
He had a remote setup from that studio.
Yeah, okay. Oh, yeah. That's amazing.
And it was literally like, it was the same mic that I use. It was an isolation shield. It was like a Mac Mini and an interface in a little like secure suitcase, and some hanging moving blankets. That's all it was.
Oh my goodness.
That's truly all. That's not to say that you can skimp on, you know, making sure it sounds good, or skimp on the acting part, of course. But, you know, it is now more possible to get heard for projects all over the world as a remote performer. I just read a book about this recently by Sarah Sikora, called The Anywhere Voice Actor. Sarah is, she's a friend. She's very, very cool. She's based out of Detroit, and she's constantly working on AAA titles, both animation and video games.
That's phenomenal.
And she just does that from her home studio.
That's so impressive.
Yeah.
But again, I think that it comes with also too, like that experience, because going and auditioning, and I've seen some of the scripts and that you're like different lines, and it's just like you don't know exactly what's the intention. They don't necessarily always give you these descriptions. Now,
rarely if ever.
Some of the people in chat may not know you actually are a coach as well, correct?
I am. I'm a teacher and a coach. I work privately. I also work through On the Mic training here in Vancouver. I've been teaching some classes for Voices of Color Takeover and QueerVox as well. I've been doing it for a while.
It's amazing.
So it's given me an opportunity to kind of experience it from both ends too, and see what newer performers are struggling with to get into the business, you know? Yeah. I should also say, because I didn't answer this part of your question, because I'm, dumb mostly.
No, listen, the one thing I love about this format is that it's very relaxed, very chill. I want everyone to be comfortable and like to have a free flow of conversation, because that's kind of like when different things might come to your remembrance, like right now.
Well, I just wanted to say, pre-pandemic, and certainly all 3 current seasons that are out of Dragon Prince, we recorded those together. Those are all in studio, full cast records usually. If not full cast, at least the cast that are in the scenes together, which was incredible. Like, one of my favorite things to tell people is in the first 4 episodes of Dragon Prince, there's a scene where Jason Simpson, who plays Lord Viren, and Luke Roderick, who plays King Harrow, are just going at it. Like, they are arguing, they are, shouting each other down, and they're old friends, like the characters are, and they're just going at it. And I was just sitting there the entire time like, whoa, this is good. Yeah, this is fucking good. And I'm like taking notes on my phone.
You're like, I got for later.
For later. I gotta track this stuff. And it was outstanding. That said, my session literally yesterday was a full cast recording. It wasn't for Dragon Prince. It's for I can't talk about it forever probably. But
NDAs, they are.
It was a full cast recording, which I didn't think would have been possible, and I'm glad to see that it is.
Yeah.
So, the truth of the matter is we adapt, and any voice actor, any actor that can't pivot or adapt is doomed to fail.
And that's really, really good. A good nugget of wisdom right there is to make sure that you are able to do that, especially if you're getting into the industry. Yeah. Now, kind of going off of that juicy little nugget you gave us right there, I want to know, what is probably the best advice you've ever been given? And it could be, it doesn't matter if it came from martial arts or if it came from, your voiceover, your time as a voice actor. But I'm just curious, because that's always interesting to me, learning something that really impacted someone, that someone else has said that stuck with them for over the years,
Yeah. There's a couple. The first one that comes to mind isn't super old. It's from maybe 2 years back, but it's something that has stuck with me really, really hard, and it's something that every actor knows, but we all forget all the time. And it was told to me by Charlie Adler, which was, we are artists, actors are artists, and art is not polite. Art is not...
That's deep.
Yeah, art is not polite, art is not clean, art can be weird, art can be gross, art can be messy, because art is, essentially human. And, we're all fucking hot messes all the time.
Yeah, and it's something that's subjective. Like we talk about it. I see Alicia Marie in chat, and we talk about with cosplay. It really is how you make it. It's not like you have to be the perfect this or that. It's just the love behind it and the passion behind it, and that is what really makes an impact on as far as being an artist.
For real. And I think of cosplays that I've seen that, because I was a con kid when I was 13 to 18, and I go to conventions as a guest. The costumes that really stick with me are the ones where, you know, they're like weird mashups, or they're like fun shit, you know,
like fun interpretations, just doing your own thing, having fun.
If I
with
see
it.
like a white and pink Darth Vader done up with like a Hello Kitty mask, I'm into it. I love that.
One of my favorite is probably drag pool.
Oh yeah,
I love it. It's
yeah.
fantastic.
But yeah, like that understanding that imperfection is baked into the job was a really hard lesson for me to learn.
Yeah,
because I can be a bit of a perfectionist.
I feel that.
Yeah, and just accepting and working with the inherent imperfection, and also as an actor, we have no control over how much we work.
Yep.
You know, we truly have no control over how much we work. And another thing that he said that really impacted me was like, you know, your work needs to resonate with you.
Yes.
Not necessarily with the people listening. Like if it resonates with you, it'll probably resonate with the people listening. But if you're trying to resonate with people who you have no idea where they are or how they're listening to this, then you're wasting your time. You can't hit an expectation you don't know.
Yes.
But if you set your own expectations and you're like, hey, that fucking slapped, that was great, then yeah, you know, the best auditions I've had, even if I don't book them, are the ones where I leave my audition booth with like the hair standing up on my arms, because I'm just like, yeah, that was it.
Yeah. No, that was that one also too, I think, because I also too struggle with trying to be perfect or trying to give 110%. And sometimes you have to remind yourself of these things because it's, you know, you're putting so much pressure. And heck, I do that on a weekly basis. I put so much pressure on myself, and I'm like, girl, get your life right, get it together, chill, take a chill pill. But you know, I have to remind myself, I'm like, I will give advice to other people and then not take my own advice. But this, I'm like, because it's not me, this now it will stick with me even more so. So thank you for that, those words that were given to you and like imparting it on to us, you know.
I have one more that I think
yes, please.
So this one is quite old. This one is, oh my God, coming up on like 7-8 years. Shit. Uh-oh. So shh,
you didn't hear that, everyone.
It's fine. It's fine. I'm 24. It's okay. No, I'm not. That's a lie. So I went down to LA. One of my first times I was down in LA on my own was 2015, and I was at the 50th anniversary showing of VO Buzz Weekly, which is a like voiceover chat show held by Chuck Duran and Stacey Oswald. And they had a panel of some of the top casting directors in LA on the show. And among them was Andrea Romano, who was the casting director for like Batman the Animated Series, Animaniacs, Hysteria. Like if it was on the WB in like the 90s to 2000s, Andrea cast it. Amazing. And she's sitting there on the panel. She's dressed in like a little turtleneck with a silver necklace, and her hair's in a short blonde bob. And Stacey asks the question to everybody in the panel, what's one thing you could tell everybody in this room that'll make their game better tomorrow? And Andrea sits for a second, kind of looks around, and goes, get a hobby. Right? And the entire room bursts out in laughter.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, I'm serious. Get a hobby. And she used a couple examples. She said, if you're an archer, I don't know why she chose archery. It's such a cool...
that's very specific.
She was like, if you're an archer, you learn patience. You learn breath control. You learn discipline. If you're a gardener, that was the other one she used, you learn how to be patient and kind to yourself. You learn how to nurture something. Everything you do affects everything you do.
Yeah.
And if all you do is act, if all you do is like, you know, fucking sit around waiting for auditions to come in, you're not a person.
Yeah. That's so important. That
sticks with me so much because like I can be really, really guilty of getting like really tunnel visioned with my work.
Yeah. I think a lot of people can relate to that, honestly.
Totally. Well, because, you know, we live in a society where our value is based on our productivity sometimes. And that's
a big thing.
Deeply untrue. And we need to divest ourselves from that. But at the end of the day, you know, what better way to do that than by not monetizing everything?
That's so great. It's true though. It's true though. It's the same thing, like, you know, like the pressure to, like, you know, make everything, like you said, your career. It can be just something you do for fun, and you don't have to always put that pressure on yourself. And, and I think sometimes, you know, we forget that. And it's like that personal care and like health, like mental health and wellness, like we have to take in consideration, because then you can't produce the same type of work if you're you know, just bottled down with all that pressure.
No, not at all. Not at all. You're gonna like so I had this audition, God, 2 years ago now, where I was up for a lead on this show and I really wanted it. I was like, I need this fucking job. And I was in my little sweaty booth for like an hour with these 2 pages for this character. And I ran through it probably like 10, 15 times. And I ended, like, I saved each take because I was like, oh, this is good. I can pull this from there, and this from here, and this from here, right? And then I get out, and I'm sitting here at my work computer, and I listen to every single take. And I shit you not, dude, they sounded identical.
Wow.
Every single take.
Every single take.
Huh. Well, that was a waste of my time. And I ended up stepping away from both the sides in my booth and everything. I did this a couple days in advance of the deadline. And I just like went to go play video games for an hour or two, or like, you know, I took my dog out for a walk.
Yeah.
I just like did anything I could to not fucking worry about it. And once I stopped worrying about it, I was able to go back and record and actually feel good about my work.
Yeah.
You know, whether I book or not the point. It's just like feeling good and feeling satisfied in my own work, as opposed to like, you know, hearing the desperation in the read.
No, that's sometimes you just have to take that step away and play those video games, which I am curious, what video games are we referring to?
Oh, what am I playing right now? I am playing
I am gonna get to your questions, chat, so I'm gonna that's the next part.
Man, I put like 170 hours into Elden Ring.
Ooh.
I'm playing Bloodborne now because I'm kind of working backwards.
Nice.
What else am I doing? I just picked up Stranger of Paradise, the Final Fantasy reboot.
Okay.
And it's like,
I know we have some Final Fantasy fans in the chat. I know for a fact. It's
so serious, and I love that it's like so ridiculously serious about itself. Like it's serious to the point of parody, it feels like. I just beat Saints Row, the reboot, which
Saints Row is so insane, but it's so much fun. It's ridiculous fun. I love it.
I had to go back and buy I bought Saints Row 4 for PS4. Just on the I have copies. I've got the physical copy kicking out. I have like the commemorative Johnny Gat statue on one of my shelves.
I love it.
I love that series so much, but I had to go back when I saw it was on sale just because I want to re-experience that opening scene of like climbing a nuke while "Don't Want to Miss a Thing" by Aerosmith is playing.
Yes. That was just so crazy. So like, you're like, this is exactly what we needed.
This is what I want.
This is what we want. We want it.
If I wanted super serious, I'd play GTA.
Yeah.
And even then, not even that serious. Red Dead 2.
Oh, Red Dead.
I wanted to go super serious.
Yeah, that one, bro. Oh man, I was crying when I was finishing that game. That's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day.
And like, to speak to the voiceover of it, Roger
it's so
Clark,
good.
the dude that voices Arthur Morgan. I think it was Noah Caldwell-Gervais, who's a video essayist, pointed this out, and it's never been able to leave my mind. I have never heard an actor do more with a single word than Roger Clark does with the word "sure."
That is true.
Just any instance of Arthur Morgan going, "Sure."
There's so many variations.
Sure. You know, like you know exactly what he's saying from just that one word, and I'm just like, fuck, dude, that's
it's like
good.
Goals. Hashtag goals. Okay, so I see Alicia Marie asked a really, really good question. And this is actually going to lead into my next thing. So I'm going to kind of show Okay, so I was showing a little bit. I think we're back. You can hear me now.
Okay.
Showing a little bit of some of the work. Oh yeah, no, that was not. It was mainly to show you guys some of the.
We cut audio feed for a second. I was like, oh no, it's happening again.
Yeah, it was to kind of show some of the different work that you've done. So now, Alicia Marie wants to know of all the characters, and we saw a little bit of the Kingdom. We saw obviously Soren from Dragon Prince, World Trigger. I forgot the character's name. It escapes my brain at the moment. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and you know, so you've done a lot of different characters, but which one would you say is kind of more of you, of Jesse? And I was like, that's a good question. Thank you,
That's a really
Alicia
good question,
Marie.
actually.
I didn't think of that one.
Okay, so there's a bit of a story to this one, but
Okay.
I think it plays to the question. There's a little bit of me in like everything I do character-wise, because you know we can only bring ourselves into our characters. But Soren had a really, really interesting, not origin story, but like just path where. So we did a table read, whole cast, me, Rack, Jason, Jack, everyone was there, Paula, for the first 4 episodes. And it was wonderful. There was like, it was catered, there was wine flowing, we spilled wine all over the place, we had to replace scripts, but not So afterwards, I get an email from Aaron and Justin. My agent actually reaches out and is like, hey, the creators want everyone's emails. Is that cool? And I'm like, yeah, they're paying me. Of course it's cool. I don't care. Give them my home address for all I care. And I get an email from Aaron and Justin saying, you know, thank you so much for being a part of the show. If you ever have any thoughts, comments, reactions, ideas about your characters, we want to hear them. And I was like, bullshit. No, they don't. Absolutely not. So I'm at home at this point, and you know, I'm probably a 3 or 4 fingers of bourbon in, and I'm like, you know what? Why not? Let's email them. So I started writing. First off, being like, you know, thank you so much for bringing me onto the project. You know, I really connected with the character. These are the ways I connect with the character. And I ended up writing a little bit about, you know, my own relationship with my father, who is, you know, a grandmaster in his form and, you know, has done all these things, and how as the eldest son in an Asian family, I have expectations that I got to meet once in a while, and how I feel I fall short of them once in a while, and how this connects, and so on and so forth. My dad is way nicer than Viren, I should say. Viren's kind of a prick.
Yeah,
my dad's super lovely. But, you know, these are all self-imposed things.
For sure.
And I sent off the email. I was like, why not? They're never going to read this. It's just going to sit in an inbox somewhere that no one ever checks. And dude, within an hour, I got an email from Aaron saying, thank you. We hadn't even considered some of these things for Soren. And I was like, what? Fuck, they read this.
Wow.
So there are things, there's a lot.
But that's wonderful.
It was honestly though, that never happens. That never happens. Especially like here in Vancouver, where a lot of the shows we work on are like fucking, you know, Angry Birds summer camp or whatever. Not to speak ill, I have a lot of friends on it. It's fun, I'm sure. But, you know, we work on a lot of like preschool shows, or we work on shows that are deeply tied to like a toy line or like a preschool toy line. The creators never want to hear from us. They want us to say words and then go. Which is fine, that's the job. Yeah. But to have Aaron and Justin be so invested in the stories and what we have to offer to it, like, it blew my mind. And, you know, hearing that they actually like rethought some of Soren's plot points and arcs based on shit that I'd written them about in my own life, I was like, oh fuck, wow. So in a real concrete sense, then I guess I could say Spider-Ham. No, it's
I knew
Soren.
I knew it.
Right? No, Soren has a lot of real personal investment for me, and I'm really, really proud of the work there.
Yes.
Insofar as I've gotten so off the question. I'm so sorry, Alicia. I love you.
No, I think that, I mean, I'm pretty sure she would agree that this is what we came here for, to know these things, because that's something that definitely I had never heard of a production kind of taking that into consideration before. And it's great to be like, oh, they want to hear our thoughts and different aspects of ourselves, and kind of putting that into the character. That I feel like is also to another reason why this particular, and I mean, of course, all of the other works, I'm not discrediting any of them. Of course. And that may, of course, there may be a little bias because I love it so much, but I feel like that's why it has been so meaningful for so many people, because of those things. But also too, like, again, just the level of diversity, because you don't always see that sometimes, like, and you don't always see that all the time in anime. I think that there's been improvement. It's getting there. That's kind of like a little bit of what I wanted to talk about too, because of the fact that you are very openly and proud to be Filipino and representing. And I feel like that's so important for people to see themselves in media, in different forms of media, even if it's like the type of thing with voice acting. Obviously you're behind, you're doing the voice, you're not seen necessarily, but still people look into, I know I do, because of the fact that I admire so many of you guys who do what you do. I'll look and see who was that actor, and if you see and you're like, wait, she's brown like me. Like, wait, it's possible. And
it's not just like Guy Whiteman doing the voices for everybody.
And it's so important to see that. And so, do you feel like now compared to before? Because I mean, over the years, I'm sure even with your family who's been in the business, has there been that improvement, or what can we do to start really facilitating that change to make sure that obviously the industry is as diverse as we all are?
Yeah, that's such a good, I wish I had better answers for all these, because it's a question that's been, the fucking scourge of any actor that isn't like, white forever. And the good news is, I think change is happening. You even see like Kelly Lynn D'Angelo's show, Spirit Rangers, that just dropped. Like, holy shit. The thought that it's an entirely native writer's room, the cast is entirely native, that's incredible.
Because you don't see
phenomenal. Never in a million years, right? And we're starting to see people who are not white in good roles, know. But that said, I mean, there's still miles to go. There's still miles to go, man. Like, before, on camera, to speak on camera for a second, I've auditioned for Filipino before the auditions for Easter Sunday twice in my life. Easter Sunday, I was all over those auditions, but that's the only time. And maybe 2 or 3 times since then, which means the past 3 years have been the most prosperous for auditions for Filipinos.
Yeah.
But, even then, we're seeing it. We're starting to see it.
We got to work on that.
We got ways to go. And, there are still, casting calls you'll see that'll say, looking for BIPOC performers, when they very clearly mean they want a black performer. Or looking for, I had one come through, man. It was like construction worker, Chinese. Okay. Sure, I guess. I mean, I'm Asian, so clearly we're all still a monoculture, so we only have so far we can go. But man, it was funny because, I was just like, oh, sure. Cool. We made it, guys.
Yeah, it's just, there's still work to be done.
Dude. There's work to be done.
It's not like all Asian cultures are the same, all Hispanic cultures that we're not,
Oh, no, not at all. And weirdly, and this will drive people nuts, Filipinos, we're not Hispanics.
Yeah, even though, you know what, it's like Joe Coy when he's like the jokes about the leaving of the culture. Like, we left the culture there for you guys, where it's like now the last names, the Mendezes, the other last names stuck, and a lot of the names for dishes.
That to say, there is a really, really good book by Professor Anthony Ocampo called The Latinos of Asia, which is, it was a study that he did as a university prof about Filipinos in the Los Angeles area and why they relate more to Hispanic groups than they do to Asian groups. And man, it opened my eyes to a lot of things. But I also think, like, shit, you know, if they want a Mexican dude for a role, hire a Mexican guy. Don't hire me. I'm not a Mexican guy. My boy Hugo can do that better.
Well, we just want where everybody is like, you know, you get those casting calls where it's like, you got the Filipino, you have everyone listed who should be represented. That's the goal.
Least, at least, if you see something that says open ethnicity, it's not just like, oh, that means a white dude.
Yeah, we got to, you know, again, but I just appreciate everything that you do, and you speak out about these things, which is really important, because I know that, for one, my boyfriend, who is Filipino, who you know, Andrew,
I know him.
Definitely, it's like appreciating, you know, he's like, I really appreciate the fact that Jesse is putting that out there, and it's an inspiration to so many. So, well, it's seriously, thank you for that.
It's something that, you know, has been not a quiet secret, but it's an open secret. That's what I mean to say. Forever, you know, like forever. It's always been the preference to go, you know, the same 5 or 6 old white dudes to do every single voice. And I mean, speaking purely to voiceover, that is, you know, that's changing, thankfully. You know, you've got really cool up and coming, not even up and coming, but now established talent that are people of color, people like Zeno Robinson, or people like, you know, AJ Beckles, or Ryan Levy, who's fucking Chainsaw Man. Like, it's so cool to see this newer, I should say, wave of talent starting to really get to be seen for what they can do. Because, you know, these guys have been here.
Yes.
I've been here. We've all been here. It's just no one has been looking at us. And as we're starting to see the light shine on different groups and different ethnicities, I would like to see the light expand. And see and recognize all of us as well.
That's beautiful.
You know?
Yeah. And that's exactly what I hope as well. And I think that, again, it's because of people like yourself and so many others who are really breaking through those barriers and paving the way and trying to make sure that, you know, the next, it's like each generation is heard and seen and feeling like that as well.
We got to send the ladder back down, right?
Thank you. Seriously, this has been such a wonderful conversation in general. I know that even minus the tech issue.
What tech issues? I forgot all about.
What is it? You know, but you know, minus all of that jazz, this has been absolutely wonderful. I'm going to check, make sure anyone else in the chat, if you guys had any questions before we wrap things up, because I know Jesse is a very busy man, and I do not want to take up any more of his time.
I'm just trying to
but I will get any
right
of these.
Now. That's all I'm doing.
Let's see. Do we have any other questions that I missed? Just checking. I think we got to them all, but I just wanted to be sure I did not miss you guys. But this was absolutely fantastic. I think also too, I want you to do, before obviously, you know, we let you go about your wonderful day. Please let us know where, again, we've been kind of putting up your socials. It's been kind of circling on our little overlay there. Thank you, Mass, for that. But, you know, again, reminding everyone, even those who are listening on the podcast later, where they can find you, and then also too the awesome projects, like if you want to kind of talk about any of those are not NDA before we do that, because I'm like, I want people to know what to look out for and kind of a little bit about them as well.
Well, I've been Jesse Inocalla, continue to be. You can find me at Inocalla on all things JINOCALLA. I'm on Instagram, Twitch. Don't add me on Twitch, you're wasting a sub. I don't use it. But Twitter for sure. I talk about projects as soon as I can. Like as soon as I can talk about them, I never shut up about them. So Twitter's a good way to follow me in doing that. Recently I had a VR title drop, Dyschronia, Chronos Alternate.
Yes.
It's from a company called My Dearest in Japan. They are one of the biggest VR game producers, independent game producers in Japan, and it's my first like game lead, which is dope. The character is he's an emo anime boy detective who can see into the past with like mutant power shit. It's very cool.
Hence the emo boy. Yes.
Hence the emo boy thing.
Backstory.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so emo. That said, I love him very much, and I'm very happy to have been brought onto the project. It's dropping episodically, so episode 1 is now out. If anybody's got a VR headset, I think it's coming to Switch too next year. Don't quote me on that, but that's how I'm gonna play it because
I have a Switch too.
Well. Yeah.
VR, I get like disoriented.
Me too. I can't do it. I'm just I get sick. I feel sick after a sec. But once it's on Switch, I'm good. I'm fine. There's more I want to talk about, but I can't just yet. But season 4 of Dragon Prince, November 3rd. Catch up on the graphic novels while you can. Tales of Xadia. Play Tales of Xadia.
Yes.
Oh my god, so fun.
Cortex
Yes.
and fandom tabletop.
Yes.
So amazing. I had the opportunity to play Jesse's sister.
Yep.
Sun elves. Woo woo woo. Sun siblings. And that was so much fun, and it's
such a fun system.
It's such a great system, and I play the Cortex system for our Leverage Los Angeles game, and it's so interesting how it's like basically it carries over. Like things may be different as far as distinctions and whatnot, but it really is a system that is it's not that hard to learn.
No, it's quite simple to learn. That's what kind of threw me for a loop.
And it's storytelling based, so it's all about the story and the RP, which I love, and so fun. But Tales of Xadia is beautiful. The art.
Also, the book is like, those of you who want more lore for Dragon Prince, the book, Cortex, Tales of Xadia, like Dan Telfer, who wrote it. Shout outs to Dan, love your work.
Yes.
It's so good. He got to write canon characters and canon stories within the universe. Hannah Hoffer, character designer for the Dragon Prince, designed 50 new dragons that are in there. There's a dragon that's like a little raspberry dragon that bites people's noses. It's very cute.
So cute. Yeah, I got a chance to meet Dan. There was a book signing over at Geeky Teas in Burbank.
That's right, I remember that.
And I was like, I gotta take a picture and be like, what's up, fam? You know, because I know that you were like, oh, I wish I could be there, but obviously in Canada, so.
Here I am.
Yeah. But.
Beyond
anything
that.
else?
No, just check me out, see what I do. Again, when I can talk about things, I will never shut up about them.
Yeah.
But,
I'm like, I'm just trying to get all the nuggets.
I know, and I'm trying to be like.
I know. I'm not trying to get you in trouble because you gotta make sure that the bag is not affected by you failing too much on Power Word Talk. Okay?
I must continue to have the bag.
Yes. Thank you so much. I know we're out of time for today, but I just want to thank you so much for being such a wonderful, amazing guest. Seriously, for taking time out of your schedule to chat with us and everybody who's watching. Thank you so much for tuning in. Also, too, just a reminder, guys, we are going to be trying to raid. So I'm going to kind of put up Jesse's slideshow of the awesome things that he's been doing for a little bit. And then we're going to do the ending and then try to raid over there at the Sirenscape team. As you guys know, there was a epic finale, but this is the beginning of their new campaign. That group over there is amazing. Rob runs that Cyberpunk Red game. It's been absolutely amazing when I've been able to tune in. So definitely, please, when we go over there, if for some reason the raid doesn't work out, Sirenscape, please go over there to support. Also, too, tomorrow, Friday, 5 p.m. Pacific time, is the High Riders. Yay! High Riders Cyberpunk Red campaign, the beginning session 0 with GM Raven, a familiar Raven. So please be sure to support and show love to that amazing group. I can't wait to see what they do with this. It sounds really, really awesome what they have planned. So definitely try to tune in if you get a chance, 5 p.m. Pacific time on Friday. And again, we're going to be trying to raid over there. But you guys have been all amazing. Thank you for your patience for the beginning of the stream. Hopefully next week, I think we got to figure it out now. We got to figure it out now. We're going to be ready to go. And I just stay tuned for the announcement for who's going to be our guest. We have lots of amazing guests that will be joining me here on Power Word Talk, and I cannot wait. So thank you guys so much again, and until next time, guys. Bye.
Cybernation Uncensored.